on the Catholic Friends Network.
In 3, 2, 1, live.
Here we go.
What is up? We're live.
Number 14.
Number 14.
That come quick, didn't it?
All right.
We're still green.
I love the Jesus candles. Oh, yeah. We broke off the Jesus candles, and here we are. What's cracking?
Not much, dude. What is happening? with you?
I'm feeling pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Today's Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday. We got here early. We played music for the last 2 hours.
We're rocking it. We're actually getting We're getting better at playing music. We're gonna have to record some for the internet.
Yeah.
Just for fun.
Yeah.
Just to throw it up on SoundCloud. We'll have our own SoundCloud channel.
Yeah, that's funny.
We should probably not tell people that it's us. You can't be good at everything, because if you're good at everything,
Shit.
everybody hates you.
That's true. Oh, we know that all too well.
Haters are gonna hate.
I wish.
Haters are gonna hate. Yeah. So anyway, we're rolling into Tuesday. It's all one big, gigantic blur so far for this week.
How long have we been doing this now?
This
When did
podcast?
we start? Yeah.
Like 14 weeks ago.
I
Okay,
guess
now
that makes
14,
sense.
15, 16
We
weeks
might
ago.
have missed a couple. Like 4 months? Wow.
Have we been doing it that long?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Time
the
flies.
life has become a quick, fast blur.
Time flies. I know when we first started, we'd play like music for maybe 10 minutes afterward.
Yeah.
And then do the podcast for like 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now it's kind of reciprocal.
Yeah, it's like a
reciprocated,
50-50.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always nice to feel like you're making progress in something like music, because music's not easy,
Yeah.
you know? However, it is feeling like we're gaining ground. I was just mentioning earlier to everybody out there, because sometimes we forget that there's everybody out there.
Oh yeah. We're just talking to each other.
We've been practicing music lately quite a bit, right? And we're getting better. We've got like almost 4 songs.
4 songs.
Almost 4 songs.
And what's funny is I put you down as a reference on a resume.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the sections was years known, and I counted back, and I'm like, 24? Is that possible?
And we only have 4 songs out of 24 years.
Oh, well, we've only...
Celebrate.
To be fair.
The victories.
To be fair, we're talking about the 4 that we've come up with in the last few months.
Last couple of days.
Yeah, since...
couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited. We get the show on the road. Start the band.
Yeah, that's right.
We're firing.
Coyote Douglas.
We're hiring roadies. We're going out on the road. We're gonna start playing honky tonks.
Honky tonk.
Honky tonks.
Bars. What is a honky tonk?
I don't know. I think my idea
Is
of
it
a
just
honky
a
tonk.
bar? That's how I imagine.
Doesn't there something to do with Nashville?
Something new.
Doesn't honky tonk have something to do with Nashville?
Well, honky tonk is like the music, but I've heard honky tonks.
Yeah,
as referred to as like bars.
Yeah,
right?
like if you go downtown Nashville, and maybe some Nashvillians will some Nashvillians will chime in. Some
Yeah.
Nashvillians will chime in. Maybe I think, because remember Ed gave me a tour of
Yeah.
Nashville, and he's like, oh, these are all the honky tonks are.
Okay.
And that's why I was like, oh, okay. So like these old, kind of old dive bars, but they're really popular from a touristy perspective now.
See, I had always figured like you had bars,
Yeah.
right? And then I imagined a honky tonk was like, I just picture like a mechanical bull and like line dancing.
I would think that too. I think they're really big in the 70s. It's where a lot of guys got their
Play
start.
pool and have a jukebox.
Yeah,
that's a
and
honky
there's
tonk.
one of those stages with the chicken screen cages to keep you from getting hurt, because of bottles and shit.
Yeah.
Like Roadhouse with Patrick fucking Swayze. That show.
Swayze.
That was a good movie.
I don't remember it. I haven't seen it.
You should watch it. In fact, you should probably own it on DVD.
DVD. Do people still use those? I have a bunch and I never watch them.
I have 3D DVDs.
What do you have? 3D TV?
Yeah, you haven't played
You
with
have
that?
to have a 3D TV.
You got to have 3D TV with 3D glasses.
and 3D DVDs.
Yeah. At all. You have to have the system.
So are the glasses still blue and red?
No, they're a little more sophisticated.
So how does it work now?
They're like polarizing lenses somehow. Don't ask me the science behind it, because I don't know. But for some reason, the
That's your
combination.
job.
I know. Well, some areas I just have not focused in on. I really have no idea how it works, honestly. Yeah, I don't know how the brain is like figuring out that there's something coming at you and tries to think it's 3D.
So how many pair of goggles do you get when you buy the whole
2.
system?
You get a pair.
You get a pair.
So we could go watch cool stuff. You haven't seen it. You haven't seen it? I got some
you
cool
know what? I may have watched it here with you once. Like when you first got it. I can't remember.
probably.
Maybe it would have been years ago.
Because I showed it off to everybody when I first got it.
Is that when you had like the big pull down screen?
Yeah. No. I got the big pull down. The right here. Upstairs,
upstairs.
is the other one.
Yeah, maybe I didn't see it.
Oh yeah. We should go mess with that later. It's pretty fun. It's not as cool as the like Google Cardboard.
I always feel like
Dreamcast.
I'm at like a technology exhibit when I come down to your house.
That's always something, isn't it?
You know, you got your VR goggles and your 3D TV, and then like I'm surrounded by fancy cameras.
Fancy equipment for the show.
I saw Aaron the other day.
Aaron Cooper, yes.
Yeah, went into the tattoo place.
Just to let everybody
chat him
know,
up.
Aaron Cooper is a tattoo artist. He owns, what does he own?
Good Omen Tattoo.
Good Omen Tattoo in Santa Cruz, California. He used to be the drummer in my heavy metal band, Negative Head.
Water Street. No, yes.
Yeah,
Negative Head.
Negative Head.
He was wearing a Negative Head hat.
Yeah, he's probably been wearing that same hat for like since 2005,
Yeah.
2006 or something.
Good old Aaron.
Yeah. So anyway, get your tattoos done by Aaron in Santa Cruz. The next time you're there, let me know. I'll get you in early because he's always booked out a month in advance.
He is booked.
Yeah.
And his shop is getting bigger.
And his shop is expanding. Yeah. Anyway, how's that man doing? How is that man?
He's doing good.
Yeah.
Told me to tell you hello. He said he needs to get down here and finish that narrative for that video you guys made.
You know, what's funny about that is, so to add context, when I got started with a lot of the marketing stuff that I do, one of the first things I wanted to do was wanted to create a course with Aaron, because Aaron Cooper's he's a portrait tattooist. So I thought, oh, this would be fun. You know, Aaron can kind of build a course on the side. He have like some some passive income coming in off of his course, and kind of throw him out there as like a little credibility in the
And it was
space.
like a course how to do those portrait tattoos.
It was, for tattoo artists who wanted to learn how to do portraiture tattoo.
Yeah,
and,
not for your average.
And we got 90%. Yeah, we got 90% of the way done with it. And where the bottleneck came up was we had a bunch of voiceover work that needed to be done by Aaron. And I'm not blaming Aaron. It's just it never happened. Aaron couldn't make it down here for any of the voiceover stuff. So days turned to months, months turned to years. And finally, I ended up, I'm like, I got to swipe these hard drives. It's like, this is never going to happen.
Oh, is it gone?
Yeah, I don't have any of that shit anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been like 3 or 4 years.
Oh, yeah, it has been.
It's like, I don't even think.
I was the canvas for that. I got a pretty sweet
you got an amazing
popcorn setting
tattoo out of that. But it was fun nonetheless.
Yeah.
It was a good experience. It's unfortunate it never really kind of manifested. But what I know now is, it probably wouldn't have had like, a lot of legs to it anyway, with terms of like a huge market share.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just guessing, but there's not like a lot of volume out there.
Especially, you were going to charge like $1,000.
Yeah. I was going to look at, it's like, hey, this is something that you could use as a skill for your business.
It seems like it'd be hard for somebody who can't draw like that. Like me, I can't draw a portrait that actually looks like a portrait, and I don't know that I could watch a video and all of a sudden be able to draw that portrait.
I think it's definitely, you have to be an artist. You have to be a tattoo person. You have to understand, like you just can't
shading and this and that.
Yeah, I don't think you just start that kind of work after. So you do have to be kind of seasoned, and then you have to be talented enough to be able to do it. Yeah. I've seen some bad portraits, man. Terrible portraits.
Oh yeah, there's TV shows based on like horrible
Jesus
tattoos.
Christ, yeah. He flies a lot of RC helicopters too. You ever seen one of those?
He was telling me he has all kinds of stuff. He was telling me about some drones.
Yeah.
And he had this gimbal that he was talking about.
What's a gimbal?
So I wasn't sure either, right?
Okay.
And he's like, yeah, I got one of these gimbals for my camera. Have you ever seen one of these? And you could put it in your phone and or on your phone. He goes, well, I'll go get it. So he goes out to the car, brings it back in. And it's like you hook your phone to it, and you can film with it. And then wherever you move the stick around, it's like a gyro.
It's like a Steadicam. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
It's really cool, and you just move it all around.
Yeah. That's really. I want one
for a phone.
So is he putting it on his helicopter or something?
No, he's using it for his phone, but he was.
Oh, he just showing off.
He was telling me about this app that he got, right?
Oh, okay.
And it was like $9, and it gives you like professional video.
Does it really work that good?
I mean, he showed it to me.
We should figure out.
It looked really good. So he was, filming around the shop.
Wow.
A lot better than my video comes out on my phone. We have the same phones.
Really?
Just an app.
Just an app.
I don't know how they do it.
You know what I bet? This is my guess. My guess is that there's probably a lot of compression and so forth that's going on with your phone, right?
Yeah.
So you can easily transfer files, And that app was like, fuck that. Let's just open this wide up and go raw. Let's just shoot raw footage, and then use our effects and our compression algorithm to make a video that's...
It probably takes up a lot of space.
Yeah.
That many frames per second to make it look that good.
Like my phone, I got the Google Pixel,
Yeah.
And it shoots like 4K, 60 frames per second, stuff like that, like super high quality stuff. And it's like, I can only imagine, like if I start getting into video with that thing, that I'm going to be constantly transferring files,
Yeah, and I can't. My phone, I don't know what, my 16 gigabytes or something.
which isn't nothing these days.
I take 100 pictures
Goodbye.
and it's full. So every time I try to open it up to take a picture, it's like you can't. Remember,
Yeah.
I got to go delete and stuff.
That's the worst.
It'd be a waste for me too.
They should put an expansion slot for an additional
memory
SD
card in
card
there.
or something.
Maybe the next number 8.
I doubt it.
Apple, didn't they just come out and say they made like $100 and something billion?
$1 billion.
this
I'm
year.
not surprised, man.
This-
I got
This quarter maybe.
I've gotten away from Apple for all my stuff except for my laptop
Yeah.
and my desktop. That so far, like the phones, I'm like, oh, the Pixel to me is way better.
Yeah.
And the Apple TV, I'm like, now the Chromecast is way better. It's like there's still these little things that I'm starting to realize that being in the Apple cult for a while and drinking the Kool-Aid gets you kind of like closed-minded on other products, and so getting the Pixel was really eye-opening. Just took away a lot of frustration.
Yeah, I've had an iPhone for the last, I don't know, since number 3.
They're good. They were good phones. They are
Yeah.
good phones. They're definitely. I mean, Jesus Christ, changed the way we use phones. That's for sure. So not knocking them, but I was really well. There's a couple things that I wasn't liking about like my iPhone 5. I swear to God, I felt like every time I got an update on it, they were secretly installing something that was going to just limit the lifetime of the phone, so that I'd have to be forced to update to another phone.
So if I went to like your phone, from mine, I never really use the cloud, but like for all my contacts and stuff that I want to save, if I switch over to one of those phones, can you still do that?
So easy.
Really?
Like it's a part of the setup process. You turn the phone on, and you have your other phone next to you, and there's a couple of like simple processes, and it all like boom moves over.
So could you still get an iTunes app and play your music?
No, so that's something you got to kind of figure out, right?
Okay.
You got to figure out your iTunes stuff. I haven't quite figured that out. I think there's something you can do about that. I'm pretty sure.
Seems like you should be able to download an iTunes app even if you have a Google phone.
Yeah,
because you can get other apps that are the same.
iTunes, right? Yeah. I would hope so.
Maybe have you tried it?
No.
Maybe you can.
Well, here's the thing. With me and like iTunes, like I don't like iTunes.
Yeah.
So I've never really bought music from iTunes, right?
Yeah.
And I also had that kind of like paranoia about like what happens when I get angry at something and I have to go somewhere else. Like, does that mean that they own, or they're not going to let me take all?
It's
of
kind of like all the photos I put on Facebook, and now I hate Facebook. But
all your
it's like my photo album for years is on there.
So as human beings, we got to start thinking like that. It's like this stuff is not yours. You're parking all your stuff, and they give you that feeling that it is. There's that whole illusion that this will always.
You need this internet too.
Yeah. So I've always kind of like kept my catalog of CDs. And when I buy music, it's usually CDs. Unless it's like a Pandora thing, then I got some music on there, but not much.
Well, I just got Amazon Music, and I didn't even know that was a thing.
Did you get Prime or something?
I've had Prime for a year.
Oh fuck me!
And I had no idea
Jesus.
that they had a music. And I guess you could it's almost like what's the other one? Not Pandora.
Spotify?
Yeah.
Where
you could get like albums and download them to your phone, I guess.
Jiminy Christmas.
Well,
Really?
That's what I've been told. I just downloaded it and haven't got into it too
Yeah.
much.
And my thing is I have
Jiminy Christmas.
Jiminy fucking Christmas. I cannot believe you're not using Amazon Prime Music.
so many curse words.
I'm sorry, sir.
No, I was Sam Elliott from the old Big Lebowski there.
We're gonna have to spend a second at the Jesus camera
Yes, we need to cleanse ourselves.
for saying too many F-bombs.
Gene's dirty mouth.
Okay, and we're back. iTunes and all that shit can just go to hell.
Yeah, screw him.
Yeah.
Do you know who's going to be on Joe Rogan tomorrow?
Who?
Alex Jones.
No way! They
Yeah.
finally did it. I'm excited. I'm so excited.
Has it been in the making or something?
It's been in the making. Like
Joe-
Alex Jones is so funny because you follow I follow Alex Jones on Twitter.
Yeah.
And it's just because it's fun.
I listen to Alex Jones a lot,
He's
and I don't
hilarious.
agree with a lot of what but
He's a good spin
I like
doctor.
Alex Jones.
He'll take a whole story and completely shoot a different angle at it, and you're like, well, I didn't see that one coming, but okay,
Yeah.
if that's what it is.
I'm kind of conspiracy minded myself, so
It all works, right?
I do like.
Well, what I like about Joe Rogan is I think Joe Rogan, they're friends, by the way.
Yeah.
They're like really good friends.
Really?
And yeah. So
I think if Alex Jones wasn't so over the top,
Yeah.
he'd be taken a lot more seriously.
probably
Like he goes on things and just goes completely nuts and
starts
looks like a
crying and
wacko.
shit. Yeah, he just like gets into it, and he's a character. But yeah, the last time I remember seeing an Alex Jones tweet, and he was tweeting. It was like, and he's tweeting at Joe Rogan. He's like,
Yeah.
I've sent him messages over and over again, and I never hear back from him. I tell him when I'm going to be in LA, and I never
And
hear
this is
back from
Alex
him.
Jones talking to Joe Rogan?
He's like,
Yeah.
Joe Rogan has like 2 phones, and I've got both of the, I got both of the numbers, and I've sent him text messages to both of them, and I never hear back from him, so I don't know what's going on
wow.
with Joe Rogan. And then you watch Joe's show, and then Joe's like talking about like, we need to get together. I haven't heard from him in a while, and we just need to connect and schedule something. So it's always been like this. Everybody's missing each other for some reason.
Yeah.
I can imagine those guys are so busy and they have so much shit going on.
I mean, they do stuff they have like imagine what we're doing right now, doing it every single day.
Yeah, and with millions of people like.
Man.
Commenting and sending shit, private messaging, and just constantly bombarding you with.
Well, they have staff.
Yeah, I don't think Joe Rogan does. I think it's just him and like his buddy Jamie, who handles all the technical stuff.
Oh yeah,
I think that's it. And Jamie kind of hangs out with him, follows him around, and they do. It's like his assistant.
Yeah.
But like a cool guy that knows a lot of shit.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I think that's how it is.
That's going to be a good. I want to listen to that.
Yeah, I'm excited that you said that. Bill Burr was on today. I didn't get a chance to listen to it, but he's got a new special coming out, and he hasn't had a special since 2014.
He's a comedian, right?
Oh, he's a comedian. Yeah. See, this is what I do. I usually sit at home, and I have my laptop sitting on my lap, and I'm working, and I just throw in comedians.
I rarely listen to comedy too.
Man,
and I like it when I listen to it. It's just kind of one of those things that's rare for me to put on.
Yeah, I listen to comedians, and after a while, you kind of like feel out what's on Netflix, and then you have like your go-to guys that you really, really like. I like Tom Segura and Bill Burr and Dimitri Martin. There's a bunch of these like comedians that are just amazing, anyway, I like watch them over and over, right? It's like the Tom Segura series. He's got like three of them out. I've watched each one like a dozen times,
I've never seen. I know who Tom Segura is, but I've never seen his comedy.
Oh, it's so hilarious. Yeah, so good. So I'm really excited about the Bill Burr one because it's like, man, it's been like 3 years since he's put one out. I think it's been like 3 years.
How often do comedians put out like specials?
Well, I know, like Mr. Rogan, his goal is to put one out every year. I think that's right, or every 2 years. I think every 2 years.
That guy's busy, man.
That guy's busy.
He's got his hands in a lot of things.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the plan. The process is they spend about 2 years building out that material, and then they go record it for a special, and then they chuck that material and then write new material. Spend the next 2 years working on the next special.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of nice because you get you have a goal, and you're just like, okay, you got to come up with an hour worth of material, and you have 2 years to do it. And then once it's gone, it's gone. It's like a record,
I wonder how old that gets because, like we were talking earlier today, how people that make a record and play the same songs over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had to go out and tell the same stories and same jokes every day for a couple of years.
Especially when you get so, they're so dialed in.
And you got to like act them out and, it's a whole like performance.
I think you really have to rely on the crowd.
Yeah.
I think that's really what it comes down to because if nobody's really responding, then it becomes repetitive.
Yeah.
But when you're getting the feedback from the crowd, I think that's probably where things kick into gear with music.
But
too.
when you're a big name like Joe Rogan, the people that are coming to your crowd are going to be your fans mostly,
Yeah.
So they're going to.
That's true. So they're going to laugh whether the jokes are no good or not.
Unless you're just terrible.
Yeah.
Unless you just blow it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It takes a special person to do that kind of work and then stay consistent because they're all like from a comedian perspective, a comedy perspective, it's like it's all up to you.
Yeah.
Until you get to that point where you find a manager to book your shows and stuff. You're like a one-man deal, so you're off running around, booking things, flying, travel, it's all you. And of course you got to get paid for everything.
And trying to come up with new material all the time.
Trying to come up with new material, writing jokes,
Yeah, Mitch Hedberg is probably still one of my favorite comedians.
Mitch, yeah. I got to see him.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't even realize who he was at the time. It was like in Seattle in like 2001. And we went to a comedy show, my wife and I, and he was one of the one of the comedians there. And he was hilarious. And then like years go by, right? And then I catch him on TV, but I never really connected the dots that I had seen him there. but he was always familiar. And then I realized where I caught him. I was like, oh, I caught him at that show, that comedy show in Seattle.
I had the same experience with Sublime.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to the K-Rock Weenie Roast with my cousin. I don't know. I was probably, teenage.
I remember
like
those days, like 94, 95, something, yeah.
And Sublime was the opening act because they were from Long Beach. And they were like the local first band that came out and played.
Oh.
And they had some girl come out and sing some song with them, right?
Yeah.
And I remember several years later, I heard, after Sublime was already famous, they're like, oh, this is, I think it was probably after he died. And they were showing different shows of him. And they showed the K-Rock Weenie Roast when they played. And it was Gwen Stefani that came out and played with them. I was like, oh, yeah, I was there.
I remember seeing that video. Oh, yeah, I've seen that video on YouTube.
And then I was super stoked. I was like, yeah, I saw Sublime live, but I didn't even know it at the time. But I remember they had the Dalmatian like the whole time.
Yeah, Louis Dog.
Yeah.
Louis Dog running around back and forth. Man,
Louis Dog.
That's such a good band. Sublime.
It's still one of my favorite all-time bands.
Man, I was hearing like a Jack Johnson Sublime cover.
Really?
Like 40 Ounces of Freedom or something.
Yeah.
Like the Jack Johnson. Well, at first I thought it was Bradley Nowell. I was like, oh man, I haven't heard this song in a long time. And then I started listening to it and I'm like, oh, it's a little bit different. I'm like, oh shit, that's Jack Johnson playing that. No, it was actually really good.
Oh.
Like it was a good homage.
I think I've heard that before too, but I can't remember.
Yeah, no, it was a good one. It's a shame that dude died, man. Those guys could have put together like, God, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame type of.
And he died before they got big. I mean, he had a video out, like they just put the video out, and then he died.
That's
and
always
then it really blew up.
So many tragedies like that, man.
You know what's weird about? There's a weird thing. A lot of them people were 27 years old.
Yeah, that's a weird coincidence.
Like, I mean, just name Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin,
Kurt Cobain,
Bradley Nowell, Shannon. I can't remember his last name, but Shannon from Blind Melon.
Oh right, yeah.
All those people, and I know there's more. I just 27.
The dude from Deadpool, what was it? Drowning Pool.
I don't even know. I don't know who that is. He was 27 too?
I think he was 27 as well.
What is it with that?
Yeah.
It's like the rock star, like...
Yeah.
Maybe that's just the age when people are like, when you're getting famous and you have a lot of money and you're like in between like being young and hitting like
that's it, man. I think there's like there's definitely like if you looked at a Venn diagram, you know what a Venn diagram is? It's where you got the two circles and then like the section in the middle is like the
danger zone,
the sweet spot.
Yeah.
And you got like, okay, we got rock star and then we got like late 20s, mid to late 20s, and they come together.
Yeah.
And they form this like you're fucked if you're not careful, spot.
That's when you're going to be partying and celebrating. Like that's when it's going to be getting to your head the most.
That's when you're on tour and you're doing $5,000 worth of cocaine a night, and some crazy chick is giving you a Hummer, and and you've never met her before. You have no idea who it is, and you're doing this over and over and over and over, and you're an alcoholic now, or maybe you're on heroin, and then you go back to the van to go to sleep, and you never wake up again.
Live fast, die young.
Yep, that's usually what happens.
Crazy.
That's crazy. Or you commit suicide because it's just like, what the fuck? This is way too much. The momentum of life has pushed me into an uncomfortable zone that is so unbearable that I just got to...
Oh, could you imagine if just everywhere you went, people would want to... I mean, it'd be cool at times, but if it was always... Like, if you're somebody who's just in the mainstream and everywhere, you can't even go get a burger.
Yeah, like Johnny Depp or something,
Yeah, could you imagine living like that?
Being a mega superstar.
Where you have to hide or, like, put on a disguise everywhere you go.
You had to have, like, a personal bodyguard. God, it's got to be crazy. I don't know how they do it, man.
Do you know who Jason... I think his name is Momoa. Jason Momoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was on like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that guy's. I seen a picture of him with his bodyguards.
That's what I was going to bring up.
Yeah, that was pretty.
He's
funny.
Like huge, and he has these like two little bitty like
that's so
bodyguards next to him. That guy's like he's a climber.
Yeah, is he?
He does all kinds of stuff.
I've seen some pictures. He's got a really good show.
Is it The Revolution or something like that?
Yeah. He plays like this. Oh, dude, it's so good. I wanted to bring it up. I forgot what it was called. But it has to do with kind of like the early days of settling in the United States, and it was like. Because if you're an entrepreneur, it's really good. It's really good because it's kind of like early in those days. I mean, if you were an aggressive entrepreneur and you wanted to earn a living through business, what better opportunity than to come to the United States and kind of like stake your claim, And in this case, they're using the fur trade as an example. So you have, is it Jason Momoa?
Jason Momoa.
Yeah. So
was it in the 1600s, something like that?
No, I don't think it's that early. It's it's like I'm thinking like the 1800s.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking like so the Brits are here, the French are kind of here. There's and then you have Yeah, like the War of 1812, right? So you have these colonial like soldiers. The British are kind of like trying to come over here, tax everybody. And they're trying to, they're trying to stake their claim as well.
Yeah.
And then you have like this pushback. Then you got this, Jason, right, this character. He's kind of a really sharp dude. Like he's a sharp guy who was trained and taught some things by the British because he came from the British, but he's not British.
So does he play like a warrior type guy?
Yeah, kind of.
He has to, right?
Yeah. And his whole thing, his whole thing right now is like striking these deals up with these Indians because they're like the source of all the fur because they're doing all the hunting and they know everything. And his whole thing was like he wants to kind of capture the entire market and sell his furs. And then you have all these competitors coming in trying to do the same thing with the same Indians. So now there's like these wars that are starting to kick off, and he's like the most savage, cutthroat of them all is going to be the winners, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how the whole series is kind of unfolding.
So is the whole season already out? Or
It's a Netflix season.
Oh,
Netflix
they just drop them all at once.
Yeah,
don't they?
Netflix is cool about that. I'm pretty sure that's what that is.
Yeah.
It may be HBO, and there may be like 6 or 8 out already.
If it's HBO, I don't think it. Because I know I've seen the icon on Netflix.
Yeah.
I don't think HBO
okay.
puts their stuff on.
Okay. Yeah. They won't put it. But if you're catching it like at the end of the season, they're all there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I can't remember which one it was. I got to figure.
I mean, are there any HBO shows on Netflix?
No. I'm getting mixed up.
Okay.
HBO Now and Netflix, and maybe on one or the other.
Yeah, because HBO Now has like Game of Thrones and.
It's got all the HBO shit. All the Vice stuff is on there now and everything.
What is Vice?
Oh, Vice is great.
Because I've seen the Vice like where they go into other countries and they're looking at like arms deals.
That's who
and
it
then
is.
They're like, so they just like
what happened was
reporters.
they originally got started. This guy Shane Smith, he's not always on Joe Rogan, but he was just recently on Joe Rogan's podcast like this week or last week. And he started Vice with a couple buddies or something. And, it was about this like counterculture, like skater kid mentality. But these guys were going out and they were capturing news stories that were, considered alternative in a lot of ways, So, yeah, they are going in the war zones. They're going in like the weird areas of like Colombia and looking at crazy drugs and all the shit that the mainstream media won't touch.
So do they have a whole channel now, like a whole network?
Man, they've grown up considerably. So yeah, they were like a website.
That's what I knew them from.
Yeah.
Just like a website and some videos.
They were a website, and then they got a channel, like a TV. No, they got YouTube, and then they got picked up by somebody else, and then HBO picked them up.
Okay.
And HBO was like, okay, you can run the internet show on HBO, and then they got so popular that it's like, okay, well, you can have a weekly show on the app. And then they got so popular, like, okay, you can have a daily show on the app now.
Wow.
So I think they're running like a daily news channel on HBO. I think, across the HBO, all of HBO now. And then they got all kinds of connections with, they're interesting, man. So they've blown up considerably. And there's so many good stories in there. So many good stories. Shit that just like, you would just go, fuck, I'd never go there in a million years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have a news app that just gives me news from different sources, and one of them is Vice News. I like reading them, but that's about as far into Vice News as I've ever gone.
Yeah, they have all kinds of different lifestyle segments and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they have one dude that just all he does is get high and reports on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it like Anthony Bourdain, but with drugs?
Yeah. So he's like dropping psychedelics and he's dropping, he's just doing drugs and like reporting on it.
And getting paid.
Getting paid to report on it, yeah. Yeah, because it's just kind of insightful and funny and it's good. It's good content, So, man. So
I went climbing. I went this weekend.
Oh, so how did that go anyway? So we got this guy, Max Carr, he's recovering from a foot injury a catastrophic foot injury that happened 6 months ago?
Yep, happened in July, 6 months.
Basically split his foot open on the side of a mountain in Yosemite.
Shattered my calcaneus.
And had to be helicoptered out of the wilderness to a hospital in Santa Cruz. Well, not the hospital. He drove to Santa Cruz with his buddies, but it took hours to get to the hospital, right?
Yeah.
And it was late at night, so an on-call doctor came and seen him at the last minute and did a kind of a half-assed job on the surgery, and now he's got to recover through the physical therapy of trying to recorrect the bad stuff in the foot and then just heal and normal. So here we are. You had your first climb on a real mountain.
Yeah, I've been doing some climbing indoors a little bit. I started when I was still in the boot.
Jeez.
And just doing it one-legged.
Yeah.
You know, and finally I was able to put some little weight on my shoe or foot and do it indoors
Dedication,
a little bit.
man. Yeah.
And then I felt strong enough to go out and try it outside. And
How does
the
it
climbing
feel?
wasn't too bad.
Yeah?
But the hiking to get there was the worst.
I could see that. I could see that being a kind of
Yeah,
mess.
just my foot rolls real easy. I haven't built up them ankle muscles
Those,
yet.
yeah. So,
You look up there like the lines aren't.
well, you know, it's like I always get
Got
concerned.
worried.
I was recording yesterday. And I got like an hour into like the show I was recording for my internet show, my marketing show, and I'm like talking, and then I look up there and everything stopped. And I'm like, what magic button did I push to kill everything?
no.
So now I got this paranoia that I just keep doing. I keep going back.
Well,
and
we're still
checking.
live.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, it felt good to get out there and climb.
Yeah.
It was a little frustrating. Like,
I was going to ask you.
yeah, it was frustrating because I could tell I was out of shape, because I haven't done it in 6 months.
Yeah.
And I could tell I still have a long way to go to get to where I was.
Yeah.
But at least I was out there doing it.
Man,
you know,
that's great.
it's like bittersweet. You know.
I had a similar moment. I've taken a couple of weeks off from the gym and jiu-jitsu, right? So I really haven't done a whole lot of anything. And I have my excuses, but there is no excuse, really,
Right.
honestly. Part of it is just burned out. I was just kind of like on a little personal strike with myself. And so I'm back, right? So at least I think I'm back. So I'm in, this is my second day in a row, and I'm out of shape. I can just tell. I could just like taking a breath, and then like it's hard to move, and I'm like, okay, champ, you just gotta take it easy, nice and slow. We're here. That's the hardest part, is just showing up, and you just lift some light weights, go through the motions. You don't have to like push yourself too hard. Just being here and being grateful is all we need to worry about. But it's like you're frustrated, right? Because you walk in and you're like the guy that used to like outlift a lot of other people that you see, but they kept showing up, and now you're like starting back over again. You're like, oh God, here we go. 135.
Is it a competition with you, or are you just like you're using them to reference where you're at?
Yeah, it's definitely not a competition.
Okay.
But it's the gym, man. There's a weird dynamic there.
That's what I like about I guess it happens everywhere, but it doesn't seem to happen as much at a climbing gym.
I do it at
Less
the
ego.
climbing gym too. I still get into that point where I'm trying to push myself, and I'm trying to do the best I can, and I'm always looking at what other people are doing.
Yeah.
I think I'm just like, all right, who's really good in here, so I can kind of like cheat by spying on them and figure out what's going on. But
Well, that's different than.
But yeah, I wouldn't like go in with like a headband on and like some cutoffs and some a tank top and just like throw on my 80s I'm a climber stash and just go for it or anything,
Oh, yeah.
Or same with the gym, but
Yeah.
it's always good to have people there that are better than you.
Yeah.
So you can push yourself a little bit harder. And when and I feel like, okay, when I've reached that point where I'm like, I feel like I'm really not really good, but like I'm in an area where I feel like
You're in your zone.
yeah, it's like, hey, I'm the guy that's putting in 5 days a week here. You're not,
Yeah.
So they're probably going, that guy is fucking working out a lot.
Yeah.
He's a hard worker. To go from like that to like once or twice a week.
That's how I've been, because
Yeah.
I climb like 4 times a
Right,
week, and now I'm down to maybe like 2. I need to push it back up to 3 or 4 again.
Yeah, for me right now is the balance of trying to do just enough to not get triggered by like a burnout mode again, right? Like that's the thing. I'm afraid like I'm going to sigh and just like get tired and like not be motivated.
Yeah.
And so trying not to trigger that anti-motivation is like my thing that I'm really working on. It's like baby steps, you just gotta.
Yeah, I'm in the same spot right now too.
Yeah.
Got to reignite that fire.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it has to do with weather too. I know for you it was just circumstance.
Yeah. And weather.
And weather. And especially as a climber, you got to be outside, if you're not at the gym. But and as the sun starts to stick its neck out a little bit longer during the day and it gets warmer and there's less cold and stormy.
Today was the first warm day I think we've had in a while.
It's beautiful out there, man.
I got to take my jacket off and walk around try to walk around the beach a little bit.
Yeah. So how'd your foot feel on the side of that mountain? Like, were you able to put all your weight onto it?
I could use it. It was like the leg is weak,
Yeah.
but I can use it now.
Okay.
Like a high step or a high foothold or something is a little bit difficult to push up.
I could.
One of the routes I did, it's one of my favorite ones kind of in this area called Rat Race.
Rat race.
But it's a crack that you kind of have to follow up.
Oh wow.
I mean, there's some face holds and stuff along the way. It's not too hard of a climb, but just putting my foot in that crack.
that sounds nasty.
Pretty rough. And it wasn't like the type of crack where you really got to jam your foot or anything in it.
Now, how would What's that move where you have to kind of rest the heel of your
hook?
foot? Is that kind of, they call it a heel hook?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how is that going to feel for you?
You know what's weird is even though my heel is what got shattered,
Nailed? Yeah.
that doesn't hurt me too much.
Oh, really?
You know, it's I think all the muscles and everything in the front of my foot is like I'm stepping on a different area of my foot now. Instead of the weight going on the ball of my foot, it's all on the side, and all that stuff is real weak. And all
So-
those muscles and everything got all tore up.
Yeah.
So there's just no strength there. And the heel is crooked, so I'm stepping on the side of the heel.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
like every step I feel like I'm trying to like roll my ankle.
Yeah.
So that's why hiking there is harder. But when I get there and I'm actually climbing, I'm usually in like the tips of my toes.
Do you think that could be corrected, that surgery, so you can walk normal again? And if so, would you take that surgery?
I may. I'm going to go to another doctor and get a second opinion.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because I need to find out if these guys
fucking
screwed up or what.
Yeah.
So,
I imagine that was probably the case.
probably.
My guess is.
Probably.
It's one of those, I could just picture that whole like 3 o'clock in the morning getting woken up to go do an operation.
Well, I didn't get my operation till the next day.
Oh, okay.
Well, I came in there at night,
Yeah.
right? And they sent me home, and then and they said to come back in the morning. Like, just go home, come back in the morning, and then we'll do the surgery.
And that was wrong, right? Because that was a compound which
Yeah,
had an
'cause-
open wound or open bone and shit.
Right, and it was wrapped up. So I go home, and as soon as and this is 3 in the morning now.
Yeah.
And this is after I've been already to 2 hospitals. I've been to Sonoma, I don't know.
Oh,
which one.
okay.
And then I came to the hospital here in Dominican.
Yeah.
Like one sent me to the other. Dominican sent me home. As soon as I walked in the door, 3 in the morning, they call me and say, we just realized that you have an open fracture.
Get your ass back in
And you
here.
have to come in here right now for surgery. So then I came back in, and then they didn't operate on it for another like 12 hours.
Oh, my God.
So it was like the next day. The lady that came, like the certain doctor that's supposed to do those surgeries apparently was not. He's on vacation,
It's
right?
on vacay.
So I get another surgeon who come in and put 2 pins in, and what she told me was those are going to be temporary until this doctor comes back in like 3 or 4 days. He'll take them out and then do something more permanent. When he came and looked at me, he's like, oh, I think she did a really good job, so we're just going to leave those in there for a while. So he left them in there, and apparently it was crooked.
Yeah.
And then he went, I had another surgery later, but he just pulled them out and like cleaned out scar tissue.
Like
and
the
stuff.
same dude?
Same dude.
Oh, man.
But I mean, everybody in the area knows this doctor, right?
Yeah.
But I've heard both.
Good and bad?
Yeah.
Health grades, like get on the internet? Well, yeah, most people are like, they're going to leave a comment on the internet. So they usually give me a negative one because it's like, fuck, that takes energy.
Well, he's supposed to be a good doctor, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, maybe they did the best they could at the time.
Yeah, I'm not. That's why I want to get a second opinion.
Yeah.
Just see what's going on with it.
That's a good idea, man. That's a good idea.
But anyway, the hiking is harder for me than the climbing.
Oh, really?
The foot's just weak, and putting my foot in a crack right now is hard and kind of sore. But I could tell that I'll be able to climb again.
Okay.
Like decent. I don't know about walking. No, I know I will, but that's just going to take a little longer. Like walking on uneven surfaces and stuff. Like at the beach is terrible. I couldn't really walk at the beach right now.
Oh,
because of the
right.
sand.
Yeah. I imagine those muscles are just fucking like, what are you doing to me?
Yeah, and they weren't used for 6 months.
Right, yeah.
And they were shredded and
A lot of work there. It's gonna take some time. It's gonna
Yep.
take some time. That's the big takeaway here.
gotta be patient.
Gotta be patient, my man. So anyway, so what else is going on? You got any news?
Oh,
Other than the world is gonna end and we're all Nazis now and there's concentration
now.
camps coming and the sun's gonna burn up the entire world and it's all one guy's fault.
You've been listening to too much.
I haven't listened to anything. I just made that up.
Oh.
But what's going on?
Not a whole lot, dude. Other than that, like trying to get, I'm excited about the possibility of a new full-time job.
Oh yeah, tell me
Seems
about that.
pretty
What's
cool.
going on with that? The climbing gym.
Yeah, it's at the so I already work at the climbing gym.
Yeah.
But there's this position coming up that's full-time, and it's like a youth program coordinator. But I mean, that'd be really cool. You'd be a coach, kind of a coach, and then like helping hire staff to work for, like teaching kids how to climb and be on the climbing team. You may even get to do some traveling around to other gyms for competitions and stuff.
That'd be kind of a fun gig to have.
It'd be really cool. I mean, I really love, like, I teach there just doing like safety classes a couple times a week. And I love doing that.
I get there's less good sense of it's rewarding, huh? Being able to train
And it's easy
people,
for me
teach
because I'm
people.
really stoked. Like I'm stoked on climbing. Like if somebody comes and asks me, I could sit here and talk to you about climbing stuff all day long.
Yeah,
I still like my other job too. I work more right now at this camp.
Yeah.
and I do like ropes course and like team building stuff, and I would still do that as well.
You know, I think I have a feeling that like that job will always be available to you as long as that place is around.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things where you could just go, hey guys, I got a better opportunity, but it'll be down the street.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, a lot of people, and I've already told a couple people there that this may happen, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes up. I know that there's going to be a lot of people that are trying to get the same.
Oh,
position.
really?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they have a poster up in the gym. I think they're posting it in like something, but. You know, they got a hold of me and said, "Is this something?"
Yeah, if they went out of their way to kind of like pick you,
So,
you know,
we'll see. I mean, they could have went up to a lot of people they thought might be good for the position, you know,
possibly.
and asked them. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Put it in your resume.
We'll see. I just put it in today. I just put my resume in today.
I'll write you a letter of endorsement.
And you are a reference, by the way.
I hope they call.
I've known you for 24 years.
I hope they call. No, they're going to be like, no, he's known this guy for 24 years. There's no way he's going to say a bad thing about him.
Yeah. I put your title or your occupation as physicist.
That's good. Too.
That's right.
That
right?
really makes me sound very very sophisticated. No,
Well,
I'm not a physicist. That would have to be a PhD or something to be a.
So what the hell are you? I thought you were.
You know, I work in the physics department
Oh, okay.
as a technician.
And I was going to put / entrepreneur, but I'm
Kind of
like,
a
they
lab
don't really
rat.
care that
Yeah,
much.
no, it's too much. You know? I know someday, you know, I may branch away from that job. It's just too good.
Yeah.
It's just a good job. It's just a good job. And
Especially if you can kind of make your own hours for the most part, it seems like.
And a day, you know, people would kill for that position. Yeah. And so I feel very fortunate to have it. And it's really hard for me to walk away from just such a, you know, good place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not really, you know, it's just, it has to really become inconvenient for me. And I think they'd probably address those concerns too if I told them about it. They'd
Yeah.
be like, what do you want to do? Work from home? I just woke. We work from home. You know,
Yeah.
you know, when you got to come in and take care of all your business, do that. You know,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I like both of my jobs kind of for the same reason. I mean, they're really like flexible with you because it's outdoor people, right?
Yeah.
And they like to go on a lot of trips and do all these things. But now that I'm like getting more healthy and wanting to get out there,
Yeah.
I need to work more hours.
Yeah, that's
know,
true. Yeah. Yeah, I was saying that earlier. It's like, you know, when you go to a conference, an industry trade show, and to you it's not work, it's a party.
Yeah.
You're in the right place.
Yeah.
It should be that way.
So I went on the ropes course.
Uh-huh.
But I
you
haven't
did?
been able to
To
go
complete?
on.
Yeah.
What's that? To complete?
To complete? You weren't able to complete it because you were injured? Or
Oh no! I mean, it's not linear. It's not like you have to go from one end to the other.
Oh,
you just
okay.
go on it. And it was like you have to. So every month, everybody has to go through what's called rescue refreshers, right? So, so if somebody gets stuck out there or needs help, you have
So
to.
they're
be able
like,
to come out
so
there
to
and help them.
put it into perspective, so the ropes course, this is like an obstacle / confidence course up inside trees.
Yeah, it's built up in the redwood canopy, and it's like maybe 80 feet off the
80
ground,
feet.
60, 80 feet off the ground. There's little platforms around all the trees.
That's like 8 or 10 stories or so.
Yeah.
So it's like being on a big 8-story building.
And it's like ropes that you swing on and like
Tarzan?
ladders and stuff. Yeah, but it's
Smith Family
Say-
Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, you're
yeah.
clipped in. You have overhead cables in case you
Right,
fall. I mean, you
right.
dangle, and it's terrifying for somebody who's afraid of heights.
Yeah,
like
which is great.
working out there, and for a lot of people, you get just kind of desensitized to it, and you're used to it. Don't even think about it.
Yeah.
really. But it's kind of fun to watch people go out there and just be
Who aren't
completely
prepared.
terrified.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of what we call tree huggers.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that basically
They hug trees because
yeah.
they're scared.
Yeah, when they're on the platform, they literally like the only thing that makes them feel safe is they just hug the tree. The whole time.
That's
and there's
so
a lot of
fun.
people that do that. It's pretty,
Oh, that's hilarious.
pretty funny.
You get a lot of Silicon Valley guys out there, right? A lot of engineers and stuff.
Yeah, like Yahoo
Google,
was there
Yahoo.
the other day. Google comes there a lot.
Oh, yeah.
eBay. All those
all those tech
Silicon-
companies.
come there for like the team building stuff.
Yeah.
They do like half a day of team building, like on the ground.
I wonder if it works. Maybe
Games.
that shit's effective.
I mean, it gets them to know each other better. Like
Yeah.
you get them to share stories and talk about certain things through games for adults. You know, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's all it is. It's fun where they're supposed to like reflect on it.
Remember that? I remember you telling me a story about the U.S. Air Force.
I was just
Showing up.
I was gonna ask you about that, but I don't know if we've talked about it on the show or not.
I think we have, but it's a pretty funny story. You know?
So I had a tour on this ropes course, right?
Yeah.
And it's all Air Force people. It's
Yeah.
like a busload of them, and there were so many that they did on several tours. It was like split up between 3 groups.
Uh-huh.
So I took my group out, and these are all like fit people, right? And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh, these people are gonna like
They're gonna love it.
they're gonna blast through this too, because sometimes you get a group who's slow and it takes a long time. They can't do everything, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes you get groups that are like I had like some Zumba teachers one time.
Zumba.
Yeah.
Ah, that's hilarious.
And they were like super in shape, and they flew through everything like,
No big deal.
yeah, 1 foot, hanging on and doing all this crazy stuff. And these Air Force people, I thought they were going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So, we have this one platform when you're done, like when the time's up, you kind of go over to this platform and then you zip down and you're off the course, right? That's how it was at the time.
Okay.
So I'm noticing like as we get like right after 5-10 minutes, and they have 2 hours out there, right? I'm talking like just a few minutes after we get out of the course, some of them are starting to like gather up over there by the zipline platform, wanting to go off. I'm like, well, I'm not going to stop the tour yet because we still got some of your group that wants to get on here and like do things. And then none of them want it. Like they all ended up over there saying they wanted off.
An entire group.
I'd say at least halfway in. Like they had a whole hour left,
and they're just
maybe more than that. And they were all just terrified. They were terrified of being off the ground, and they weren't having any fun, and they wanted to be back on the ground.
That's too funny.
So I was like, that is so weird, right? That's like,
irony at its best.
And we were in the Navy.
Air Force.
We were in the Navy, and there's a lot of like shit talking between the different branches, right?
Sure.
And so that's kind of like, it fit right into the
They don't run in boot camp. You know what they do? They ride bicycles. No,
Really?
but that's what we used to say. Shit like that.
But it fit right into the stereotype.
Yeah.
The Air Force definitely, like, they all had their own rooms and stuff after boot camp.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't do that in
They
any
were
other
super
branch.
pampered,
Yeah.
Well, to their credit, they're usually more intelligent in a lot of ways.
I'm not saying anything about the Air Force. I
And,
got a lot of good buddies that are in there.
And they're coming from the Defense Language Institute, which puts them in another category, right? And there's always a compromise. If you focus yourself and you dedicate yourself to like, knowledge, let's say academics, you're that person, you're less likely to be outside doing all of the adventure.
Yeah, but you're the
manly
military.
stuff.
You're supposed to be outside doing stuff.
Man, I played
And it's the Air Force, so they should be used to being
I'm-
off the ground, right? Like
yeah.
heights would be the last thing you think they're afraid of. But the funny thing, even funnier than that, right, is I was talking to some of the other guides at the end of the day, like kind of making jokes about them.
Yeah.
And they're like, the weirdest thing, my group did the same thing. And it was all three of the
Air
groups.
Force?
From the Air Force.
That's
they all
hilarious.
did the same thing. It's so weird.
it's so funny how it's like you could probably have there's probably statistical significance there, you know, or it's like, these people, these young middle-aged, not these young middle-aged, these 18, 19, 20-year-old kids that are smart enough to be linguists for some reason are just deathly afraid of heights.
All these ones, that whole group seemed like they were probably around 30, around 30.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. It's kind of funny, though. And it's just hilarious that would be the case. Yeah. So,
but after I got on the course, I realized this was, for the first time. Because I went on the course for the first time in 6 months to see if I could start working on it again. And I probably can't yet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like I can get around on it.
Yeah.
But if I have to go like
rescue somebody,
it's like I could do it, but it's going to be hard and slow. And it's like, that's probably not good if somebody really needs a
real rescue.
So that one's going to take a little longer.
Oh, that ain't too bad.
Just a little longer.
You get there.
Yep.
I was watching this video on Reddit. For some reason, it has me thinking about this. It was in the WTF section of Reddit.
I just downloaded Reddit. We keep
did
talking
you?
about it, and I just started looking at it today, actually.
Oh boy, it's a rabbit hole.
Yeah, I haven't figured it out yet because I haven't spent much time.
Yeah, you just got to get a log in, get an account, and then and then start kind of like just when you get interested in something like Photoshop. For example, it's like I want to get into Photoshop. It's like they have a thread there with all these experts, and they're just talking back and forth like experts. And after a while, you just kind of lurk and learn, but it's like in every topic,
Yeah, I was browsing a little bit, and I think I looked up like weird or creepy.
Yeah, creepy. Our creepy's pretty good.
But it was just random stuff.
Oh, really?
Right.
It
was like a lot of pictures of like
there's a lot
cartoon skeletons.
You get like your search results are going to come back with subreddits, which are like a thread on a forum, and like there's going to be like a bunch of different subreddits created on a topic based on because you could create one. Okay. You can go in and I'm going to create the subreddit on photography.
Yeah.
Like you and like 50,000 other people, right? And
so how is this different than any other bulletin board?
Well, what's really cool is the stuff that's worth that's quality. There's a lot of people on there for one, right? So everybody votes up and down on the quality of something, right?
Okay.
So if it's worth if it's worth reading,
it's ranked somehow like higher up. You see it more people like it.
Yeah. So when you jump in there, you're going to kind of see all the stuff that's surfaced.
You see the best.
You see the best, and and there's like a huge diversity of categories like that just come in as a default on your homepage. So that's pretty fun. You get to see all kinds of stuff, you know. But I was on this, you know, one of these things came across the WTF section of this Indian guy who's walking alongside the edge of like a building, which is like a tourist attraction, like a skyscraper, and he's kind of like showing off, and his buddy is like filming it, and the knucklehead like nonchalantly like slips, and then his head hits the side, and then he just goes boom right off the side of the whole building.
Does it kill him?
Oh yeah, he's toast. He like, this thing is like above the clouds.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he just kind of like, do look at me, I'm walking on the side of the bed, and then boom, just like falls, hits his head, and then boom, disappears. Goodbye.
Oh my god.
So crazy, man. So crazy. But that, I don't know why I brought that up, because you're talking about like these high in saving somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's a dude that could have used a little saving.
Yeah, but how could you save that?
You couldn't.
It's just over with.
Yeah, the whole thing is it's like welcome to India. It's like there's no safety there, man. It's just
What our rescuing usually is, right? It's either one of two things. The most common is somebody gets stuck on the zip line, so they like break themselves too soon and they just hang out in the middle.
oh, they get stranded.
Or they get to the end, they're not coming, or they're too light or something, and they roll back out. It was like if you don't make it all the way in, you roll back out to the middle.
Oh, okay.
And that's when people panic because they think, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to hang here forever.
I'm gonna
right?
die." You ever see? Has anything bad ever happened? Like you ever catch somebody get injured or anything?
Yeah, actually, at the very last tour I worked on.
Yeah.
Because I was headed to Tuolumne Meadows right when this tour was over, and that's the weekend I got injured.
Oh.
So the very last tour I worked on, some guy was out, like it was him and his wife, right? And they were there. And he was on these little rope things that you have to kind of like climb in between two trees, right? And he just ran out of strength. Could not pick himself up.
Oh.
And he was hanging there. And instead of letting go and just, because you're in a harness,
Yeah.
you know, and you could be comfortable if you just let go.
He panicked.
And he's just holding on. So he used all the strength he could, so he couldn't move anymore. And he's just holding on for dear life.
like rope burns and stuff.
Yeah. So I go over to him, and I have this like 3-to-1 system or whatever I could put down and hook him up and then lift him up.
No
right?
big deal.
So he can get himself back on. So I'm out there doing that, and while that's happening, his wife, we took it out after this incident, but it was something called the Tarzan swing, where it's two trees, you know, with platforms, and then they're maybe like 8 to 10 feet apart, something like that. And there's a rope that just hangs down in between them. So you have to jump off the platform, which is probably one of the scariest things because you're like 68 to 80 feet off the ground, right? Grab the rope and then swing to the other platform.
Yeah.
And we've had this thing for the whole, you know, years. It's been there for years.
Yeah.
And there was like a fire hose that was around the side of the platform, so if somebody like bashed their shin, it would pad it.
Yeah.
And a couple of people would get bruises every once in a while, so we put it on this big, huge pad.
Yeah.
And then this lady, I don't know how she did it. She must have just jumped sideways. But she jumped and then swung around, and her shin hit the corner of the platform, like way around where the pad...
Did they like shatter it or something?
Oh, just...
lacerate it?
It just opened it right up. There was just blood everywhere, and I was rescuing this guy, and then this happened.
They're like related?
Time. They were married.
Oh my God.
Husband and wife. Yeah.
Talking about an experience, you know? Oh my God, man. That's hilarious.
And they handled it well.
Yeah.
You know, once they got up and got off, they weren't like being crazy about it or anything.
Oh my God.
But it was like an omen for me. I shouldn't have went to Tuolumne that way.
No kidding. You have good omens, man. Like the 666 omen before 9/11.
Dude, that was crazy.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother story in itself. But yeah, so I had to stay late at work, and I was in a hurry. I was like, no, I need to get to Tuolumne, right?
Yeah.
So I had to stay late and like fill out these like reports
safety
and all
reports
that.
and shit.
And then I went up there and then fell on my climb.
You did your thing. Whew. That's so gnarly. Yeah, I could just imagine like that couple. Well, a couple of things would go through my mind.
Maybe we shouldn't do this, honey.
There's that.
We should have did the zip lining where they do everything for you.
There's that, or it's like, what's wrong with me? If I can't get through this thing that everybody gets through, like the weakest of the weak somehow managed to figure out how to get through, and then here we both show up and both fuck ourselves up.
Yeah.
What does that say about us? You know, that's how I would look at it.
They probably went home and were like, they must get a lot of people get hurt there.
Oh yeah,
they're thinking the odds is this is a dangerous place.
It's like I never get hurt, and I do this stuff all the time.
Yeah, and that's the only time I've ever seen that happen.
That's insane. That's funny. It's interesting that they were both like related coincidentally, and they both got pretty fucked up.
It's not funny.
Yeah, it's not. It is, but it's not.
That's what happens.
It is if they're not listening.
That's why we try not to say it's safe. You know,
Yeah.
I did that earlier. I'm like, it's safe. And I'm like, well, we don't really say it, but I mean, because it's inherently dangerous, right?
Yeah,
it's like climbing. You
it's,
just take as many precautions as you can.
It's like anything in life, man. It's like, I don't know who you are. I don't know where you come from. You could, it's like, yeah, it's safe for most people, but you could be a complete retard who has no coordination
Well, it's
whatsoever.
like driving your car every day down the road.
Yeah.
You're having perfect faith in all these other strangers operating these
He's 2,000
machines
pound
that are flying right
death
by you.
contraptions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everything, you're taking a risk.
Take a risk everywhere.
You just,
Yeah.
you just got to live, man. You got to live.
Like text messaging in your car. I guess it's more dangerous than drunk driving, and it's 5 times more dangerous than drunk driving.
Wow.
And guess who's doing all the texting? Well, everybody's texting, But the worst case, Venn diagram again. A texting female teenager, like 17, 18 years old, is like a death
The
trap.
most common.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So, just FYI, it's now it's a new law. Actually, you're not allowed to have your phone in your hand at all while in your car.
Well, how many people did you see, like, they know they're not supposed to talk on the phone?
They're doing
so
this.
they hold it right here. It's like,
This is safe.
what are they thinking? I've seen police officers driving by doing that.
They still do it.
Of course.
They still do it. Still hold it
They're
right
the
here.
most
It's
law
completely
breakers.
safe. It's completely safe. Yeah. It's like listening to the AM radio.
It's okay, I'm a cop.
It's those guys are the most. Yeah, they break that law more than anybody I know.
Oh, they break all the laws probably more than anybody.
Yeah. God damn.
Not saying anything bad about police officers.
Hey, they all.
Kinda. Maybe a little.
Maybe just a little.
I'm not bitter.
I'm not bitter. God damn it. So anyway, what time is it? Hey, we're pushing almost an hour. Goes fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're on a roll.
We're just out here shooting the breeze, talking about life in general. Everybody, life in general. Trying to just carve out a little time for the rest of the world to see how these two guys are doing on the central coast of California.
With their Jesus candles. Still burning.
I bet there's people in the Netherlands that are freezing their asses off. And we're talking about sunny California and how great it is.
I was freezing my ass off yesterday. It was 42 degrees.
It's too cold. It's too cold.
Oh, we're spoiled in California.
I know. I keep saying that too, and I keep thinking I want to move to a warmer climate for the winter
You
times.
go to Palmdale.
Yeah. Seems like there's something weird about the desert. There's a couple of places in the desert that's like
Palmdale gets colder than
gentrified and affluent,
Yeah. Cold Seal.
Cold Hills, like the fancy area of the Antelope Valley, just because every
It's on a
area
hill.
has a bell curve. Yeah.
It's on a hill, that's why.
It's probably got courts in it, like
You go up
every
there
other
and
hill.
look down on everybody else on your little
That's it.
hill.
I gotta look down, and they all have nice big houses, but they're still in a shithole. Just the prettiest area of the shithole, I guess.
Yeah.
It's still a cookie cutter like track house.
Suburbia
Yeah.
type of place.
No, I was thinking like Sonoma or Sedona, as like an interesting place that would be fun to kind of live.
So Sedona would be nice.
Yeah, during like the wintertime, I think. But then again, it's the desert, the Sonora Desert, and it gets cold as fuck in the wintertime there too.
You probably get tired of I like the new age stuff. You probably get tired of it after about a week. Every time you go into town, somebody's wanting to
You roll your eyes every
give
time
you
you
a
see
crystal and
fucking crystals.
align your root chakra.
That's right. Oh yeah, those are good old days. Get those
I love
vibrations up.
Sedona.
Sedona.
You got me wanting to say Sedona.
I know, it's easy to say.
Sedona.
Palm Springs is another one where a lot of people go with golf. It's a golf courses
Yeah.
and vacation place. But other than that, I think every other desert town is like kind of shitty that I can think of. I don't know. I haven't.
You're biased because you. What about Jerome?
See, that's kind of a shitty town. The only thing that's good about it is there's a little bit of art up there, and then there's Maynard.
That's true. It's kind of like
But other than that, it's just like another shitty fucking desert town.
a little bit of art, and then there's Maynard.
Yeah, you got art and Maynard.
You got some
And-
wine.
And Maynard's making it really nice
And you got
up
the
there.
haunted burger.
Yeah, that's true too. You got the haunted burger, and they dress it out like the Day of the Dead stuff that they do in Mexico.
At the haunted burger.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's been. I was there a long time ago, so I don't know
Yeah,
how
it's a cool place. Other than that, but yeah, I think like Maynard is out there buying up.
He owns Jerome. Probably.
He owns it. He owns the area.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his. He's buying
He's
up.
cultivating the wine out there.
Yeah, and he's buying up businesses. He's really trying to make it a touristy place. So he's getting into the vineyard stuff and trying to bring in fancy food and fancy wine and just kind of turn his area into something nice.
That's cool.
And yeah, he's the guy
Seems
to do
like
it,
a
man.
noble cause.
Noble cause. Gonna come over here and gentrify.
Making Jerome great again.
That's right. Get rid of the riffraff.
Yeah.
Get rid of the riffraff. Yeah, but I don't know, man. I think it'd be kind of nice to live out there. It's
You were just talking about shitty desert towns. Now you're like, yeah, it'd be kind of nice.
well,
to live out.
like for a while, like a week, a month. I'm sorry.
Sedona. I would like to live in Sedona.
Yeah.
And when I was there, I wasn't into climbing yet.
Oh yeah,
You
I
know,
bet
and
there's
there's a lot
out-
of good climbing
Yeah.
in Sedona.
See, yeah, there's a lot. It's so unique out there. The rocks and everything. There's water that goes through there. Yeah, it's kind of fun. There's a lot of health retreats, which is kind of cool. So
Lisa and I are planning to go back to Zion in April.
oh, are you? That's okay.
In Utah?
Yeah. That's nice.
I wonder how far Sedona would be out of the way. Probably
bet.
way far out of the way.
Maybe. How far is it from the Grand Canyon?
Sedona?
The Zion.
Oh, I don't know.
Because I know how far.
been a while.
I know the Grand Canyon.
Several hours.
Okay. Yeah, maybe a 4-hour
hours.
drive or something.
But we want to go. Last time we did it like a year, maybe 2 years ago. Went spent a few days in Yosemite and then went down.
You guys gonna just drive, make the drive?
Yeah.
You gonna drive your car? Is that the
Probably.
plan? Yeah.
We haven't solidified the plan yet, but we just came up with it.
Sounds
other
like a
day.
fun
Yeah,
idea.
Let's go back. We were looking at our pictures from our last trip. We're like, man, that was fun. We need to do that again.
Yeah. Make that a regular thing.
Well, we did the Angels Landing hike. Have you ever heard of that? In Zion. It's probably the craziest and most fun, beautiful hike I've ever done.
Oh, really?
So you hike out there and you go up what's called Walter's Wiggles.
Walter's
which is like
Wiggles.
it's a series of switchbacks.
Okay.
Super steep. I don't
Yeah.
know how much elevation gain, but it's a lot. And then when you get up to the top, I think they call it Scouts Landing. And then from that point, there's just like this big fin, right? This big rock fin, and that's 1,000 feet
Oh,
tall.
wow.
So at the top, so as you hike up this fin,
Yeah.
on either side of you, and there's just a chain coming out of the rock in most areas. Some areas there's not.
That's how you get up
kinda
there?
You can hold the chain.
Uh-huh.
But in some areas it's like just several feet wide. I'm talking like 3 or 4 feet wide.
Uh-huh.
And then you have a sheer 1,000 foot drop on both sides.
Oh, fuck.
It's crazy.
Hold the chain. I'm gonna
Yeah,
write
you
that
hold
down.
the chain.
I like that. It's a good title for a song.
Hold the chain. But when you get to the top, I mean, you have like a panoramic view of the entire like Zion area. It's,
Oh, yeah?
it's like super cool.
That sounds like a fun place to go hang out.
Yeah.
I heard they got some really good mountain biking there too. Moab. and
all the
those
outdoor
areas.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'd like to get up to Bryce Canyon too.
Bryce, what's that?
It's just it's right. I think it's north of Zion. Like there's all these big national parks that are like right
Yeah,
in line.
right,
We have
right.
like Moab, Bryce Canyon, Zion, and the Grand Canyon. But Bryce Canyon has all these like huge pillars. I'm sure you've seen lots of pictures of it. Just like these huge pillars
Yeah.
of like red rock everywhere.
Oh wow.
It's really. I haven't been there yet.
What do they call those pillars? Do you know?
I don't.
Like monoliths or something, or is that some sort of stone structure that's been carved out by ancient aliens
In Egypt.
in Egypt?
Yeah.
You know who John Anthony West is? He's an
sounds familiar.
Egyptologist. Anyway,
I like Egyptologist.
he's this old guy. He's got, unfortunately, he's got stage 4 cancer. He's been on Joe Rogan stuff quite a bit. But yeah, just bad news. Sorry.
Thanks for bringing this down.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
Bringing this down.
Well, man. Well, hey, it's been a great show. I think we're gonna call it. Is that cool?
Yeah, let's call it.
Only reason why I'm saying that is my stomach is just going crazy right now. I need to eat something.
Yeah, I could hear it growling. I thought it was your dog at first.
And I'm just like, what? And I'm getting dizzy, and I'm starting to drift off. I need
Starting to
Jesus.
fade.
I need Jesus. Oh. Okay. So anyway, how can people find you, Max?
At Max on the Rocks with 2 X's
Yes.
on Instagram.
Instagram, and you could find Gene Morse at C12 Gene on Instagram. I don't use Instagram. I don't use anything.
You could find me on Instagram, but I don't.
Yeah. In fact, you could find me on Facebook. I don't use it. You can find me on Twitter. I troll that.
I deactivated my Facebook.
Like you made it official.
I go back and forth. I deactivate it for a while. And then go
Oh,
back
and then turn it back on.
I just
yeah.
I get so sick of.
Of
all it is people. It's the last like 5 months. It's just political fighting. I can't take
Yeah.
it. So I've deactivated it, and then I get curious after a few days. I'll turn it back on.
I heard a good one though. I know we're not supposed to talk about politics, but something to do with there is a bill. A guy from Utah wants to pass a bill where public lands can be sold to public companies.
Yeah, I'm not too happy about this.
Yeah, that's kind of nasty.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is with that.
There's one bill that I haven't looked into it a whole lot.
Yeah.
But I did hear about it, and I definitely don't like that idea because I am a user
Right?
of public lands and BLM land and all that.
Yeah. So everybody's got one of those, I think, man.
Yeah.
Everybody's got one of these things where shit's just
You
getting
got
under
your
the
issue.
skin. Yeah, you got your thing. You got your dog in the fight now.
But like I said, every time somebody's in charge,
It's the same shit.
there's going to
Yeah.
be something that they do that you don't like. That's just how. Unless you're just
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, like ban all these Muslims.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what to think. I don't know. It's witch doctory too in a lot of ways because you get so much different. Anyway, we're out of here. We'll see you guys
On
later.
that note,
We'll see you guys later. Thanks for hanging out. Stay out of trouble and buckle your seatbelts. Jesus candles.